What I will say is that I really do love the music they've been putting for all this, because we get a lot of themes back in there. Oh, hey guys, the camera's recording. Welcome to another episode of Cinema Photography. I'm your friendly neighborhood hookologist. Joining me as usual is
Producer Man Isaac. What's going on, guys?
So before we get started into the Falcon the Winter Soldier, let's talk about what we're smoking today. So, Isaac, do you remember what I packed you?
No, it just has mint in it.
It's 2005 Blueberry by Tangiers with cane mint.
Yeah, a lot of cane mint.
Actually, I think I may have put a little bit too much cane mint in there. That's my bad.
No, we're all good here.
Okay, and then I got strawberry and orange soda, also by Tangiers, because we like our dark leaf around here. And you know what we don't have in the bowls? Foreplay on peach.
Foreplay on peach. What a shame.
Yeah, I know, because I can't have foreplay without peaches.
You cannot.
I have it. I bought it.
Put the mic on.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, it's on. So I have to. I have it, but I've been mixing. Like I've been trying new mixes. So I've been. This is like this. These are two mixes I was told I should try. So actually turned out really well.
Yeah.
So the penultimate episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 5.
The climax. The climax of this story.
I'm so ready for next week.
So am I. I think this is the most excited I've been since this whole thing started with Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Like every episode was just like, I can wait for the next one. I can wait for the next one. Now we're on the 5th one now, and then coming up to the 6th.
4, 5, and 6 have been lit, dude.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's been really good.
Yeah, I can't believe like what they're doing right now. Like it's so much happened in this hour.
Exactly.
Like we have Carly finally gone off for rocker, full flag smashers, and they got a whole tribe now. Right?
Yeah.
And what does she use? WhatsApp to get all these people just to join her cause?
Yep. All on LinkedIn. So.
She did a Facebook group or something?
Something. She went live. Something. I don't know what.
I don't know what she did. And then we have Backdrop the Leaper coming back. And now I'm really starting to like lean into this thing that Sharon Carter is the power broker.
Like from all of her phone calls she keeps making?
Her phone calls she keeps making. Like, and it could be like, oh, like I was saying before in episode 3, like how she was purposely not hurting these people because they're her men, and they just told her to attack and just like normal.
Yeah. Right?
It's all very convenient for her.
I think that's the point, to make it seem that way.
Maybe, but at the same time, like, and then when she called Backdrop to go help Carly, right? And it's a double cross to get Carly back to Madripoor.
Yeah.
Right, obviously, and it's gonna be one hell of a thing. We have John Walker get dishonorably discharged from the military and drop his shield, which he got taken away from Bucky and Sam.
Can we just talk about how intense the first 15 minutes of this episode were?
Dude,
like,
there was just so much going on.
They like when they were like, pretty much, you don't want to do this, and Bucky just looks at him like, yeah, we do. Like, he's been waiting to do this since
We've
the
all
beginning.
been waiting for that to happen.
Yeah. Put the promo suit over here.
So, you can't see it, but I'm using my new hookah. Maybe I can lift it up. It's heavy, but we got the new Viro 1 in this week, so I'm using that one. Isaac's using the Capuchin, also known as the Union Sleek.
Yep. I feel honored to be using this one right now.
I know, that's my go-to.
Yeah, exactly. It matches too.
I know, green and green.
What did you end up naming this one?
I don't know. Grogu. Grogu. This one is dubbed Grogu. Hold on. Grogu.
I see you.
I see it. That makes sense, though. It's a little green hookah. And we have Yoda somewhere hidden in the world.
I thought you gave Yoda away.
No, that thing's somewhere.
Oh, anyways.
But no, like, and then the fight scene was just so intense. The choreography was unbelievable.
Yeah, I know.
I loved how Sam used his wings. Like, he tripped up fucking Nega Cap. He tripped him up, and then he tried to do the Spider-Man thing, taking the shield away. Didn't work. Well, that only works for Spider-Man, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
And can we talk about how, like, they used him as a goddamn baseball bat?
Pretty much.
They lifted him up, but whoop-ah!
They did a freaking wrestling move on his ass.
They did, and they had to break his arm to get the shield back. And then did you notice that how Sam was only focused on the blood? On that, he's like, oh, he killed him. Nico killed, Battlestar. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. It was Carly.
It was Carly who killed him. And then He even lied to his Was it It's Marcus, right?
Yeah.
Marcus's parents saying that he killed him and I got him.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like you're like it. It really goes back to like how the personality is only enhanced by the super soldier serum.
Exactly. And all that PTSD and all that other stuff that's been going on in John's head since this whole thing started.
Is making it
It's
worse.
just making it a lot worse for him.
Yeah, and then he went to Zemo goes to the raft, and that scene itself, is so fucking intense. And you notice like in the trailer we see all of the flowers and memorials and stuff like that, and in post we don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to that whole subplot of a major, virus going around killing people, and obviously because of COVID-19 they cut that out because they didn't want to see like a Chinese subplot and get all kinds of hate for it.
Oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to keep certain pieces of what they wanted in the story without getting rid of
the story.
Yeah, exactly.
So like the Flag Smashers always had like a weird like kind of presence in this. I felt like the whole time until now it's starting to make more sense, and now they're attacking the GRC, those who are voting on the Patch Act.
Yeah.
And then can we talk about Elaine, or also known as New Christine, coming into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier? What was her name? You looked it up.
Her name is. Let me go right back to this. Second. Oh, there we go. Her name. Everyone keeps saying that she's Madam Hydra. Tommy doesn't think so.
No, I don't. She's not Madam Hydra. And like I keep saying, like in that comic, she was only Madam Hydra because she was working for Leviathan, undermining Hydra to get
her
rid
name
of her.
is Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Also known as Val, but don't call her Val.
Yeah.
And her card? No number.
No number.
So what role could she play? When I saw her, I thought she was a power broker. But it made it a little weird because they always refer to the power broker as a he and using male pronouns to describe the power broker. But it could be just a whole front, like, because Zemo knew the power broker for years. He known Sharon Carter for years, and before Sharon went Breaking Bad, like it could be said that she is the power broker.
Yeah.
So I'm a firm believer that she is that, or Zemo. Not Zemo. Sorry.
Contessa?
No. The dude with the TV. Zola. Artem Zola.
Yeah,
is the power broker. Yeah, it took me a minute, but Zola could be the power broker.
Maybe.
It makes sense. But we were supposed to get one big cameo this season, and I don't think she was it.
Well, we thought the same thing for WandaVision, and look what happened.
It was Paul Bettany?
Yeah.
It was Paul Bettany. He trolled us so hard for that.
I know. But there was just, this whole entire episode was about truth. All the truth came out. Everything needed to be said, all the words, all the talks, everything. And it was a different change of pace, but so intense. Like, there was nothing that wasn't intense about this episode.
Yeah. Steve, what do you think?
It was intense.
Steve thinks it's also intense. And it's crazy to see like all this stuff kind of go on, and especially when Sam went to go talk to Isaiah Bradley again, right? And we had that terrible story in here at the backdrop, like and it reminisced of the first Avenger movie. Yeah. Captain America went in to go save all those prisoners, and he came back and he was treated as a hero. Isaiah did the same thing. He's pronounced legally dead.
Yeah. And
gets locked up.
They get rid of the name. And it goes to the fact that Sam was like, why don't we tell somebody? Why don't we do this? And he's like, why would they accept me now and didn't accept me then?
Mm-hmm.
Type of thing.
Right.
And it makes a lot of sense. Because whatever's going on back then, nothing's really changed in a sense.
Right. No, exactly.
If anything, it's maybe gotten worse.
Exactly. And it's so crazy because it really seems like it was just a common conversation that two African Americans would really have. Like what self-respecting black man wants to have that shield? You know what I mean? It's like it's a white man's shield. It's not ours.
And he refers to him as the white man.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't call him Steve. He doesn't call him Captain America. He calls him the white man.
Yeah, because that's who he is. He's a white Captain America. And like that was going back to I think our last podcast when I was saying like it's these supremacists, and like it's a weird way to kind of put it, but we think of it view, but when you see it in their eyes, that Captain America, blonde hair, blue eyes, look at fucking Superman. He showed America's values, right? Not the world's values, not humanity's values. And same with Captain America. They're showing America's values in all this, because Captain America was a propaganda comic book where he's knocking out Hitler, his first comic.
Yeah. It's because Captain America is a walking embodiment of what
America should be.
America should be.
Right?
But in reality, now I get it. Now we get more of an understanding why Sam didn't want to become Captain America, because he knew that deep down in his heart that the world wouldn't accept a black man being Captain America.
And they really haven't in recent comic books either, because let's look at it. Steve Rogers is Captain America again, and Sam Smith's Falcon. You know what I mean? Because he only had a short run as Captain America. It wasn't too long, but you know he actually came out really good. And we have Torres,
Joaquin.
Joaquin Torres is now going to be is hinted to be the next Falcon, because you know John Walker ripped off the wings. He's like, oh, you left your wings, keep it. You know what I mean? So it's planting the seeds for that.
Yeah.
How's it over there?
Good.
Good. Okay. So we're seeing a lot more of this whole battle for the shield. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Batman comic book, Fight for the Cowl, or Battle for the Cowl, and everyone wants to be Batman. This is what feels like to me.
Oh, I like with Dick Grayson, Damian, Lazarel, all them wanted to fight for the cowl.
Exactly, and it's like the fight for the shield between Sam, Bucky not so much, but
Bucky could be Captain America if he really wanted to, but he doesn't want to because he knew that it was Steve's decision to give the shield to Sam.
Can we talk about how old Cap remembered that deal he talked with Sam about, talked to Bucky about this, about giving him the shield? At that age, do you remember much, Steve? Like, how did he remember that deal?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it really kind of gives back to Endgame. Like, he had a chat with Bucky about this before he went to go return the stones. And we still don't know what this new shield is made out of. It could be vibranium, right? But I go back to what Io didn't want to take the shield because it's not what if it's not vibranium? It is prototype adamantium, and we're finally gonna get the X-Men coming in. You know what I mean? So at the same time, it's like, what is it really made out of?
Exactly, and like it never really addressed the fact that how did Cap end up with a new shield at Endgame? Where did he get it from?
How did he make it?
How did he make it?
Did he make it like John Walker?
Because obviously we saw what happened to his shield in the battle against Thanos.
It was kind of like, what's the strongest metal in the DC, not MCU, right? Because in the comics, it's Uru, vibranium, and then adamantium, right? Is it the same kind of level? Because we know Uru can destroy vibranium. That's why, Vision couldn't phase anymore after he got stabbed by Corvus Glaive. So at the same time, it's like, what? Not only what is shield made of, like what is stronger than
I think
shield?
they're gonna swap it. They're gonna switch it to adamantium being stronger than vibranium, instead of vice versa.
I see that too. You know what I mean? Because it's like, we don't know if we're getting Black Panther 2, but obviously without Chadwick Boseman, rest his soul. But like, what's gonna go happen with that? You know what I mean? So I think they're gonna start straying away from it a little bit, and going back to like having adamantium be the stronger metal. So it's kind of like up in the air, like what's going on. You know what I mean? And now we're having all this stuff it's gonna be a fuck show next week. And it's
not just here on this episode, but just in general for next week, because there's a lot of things going on next week.
Mortal Kombat! Din, 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 din.
It's about to go down. So next week should be very interesting.
Next week's gonna be fun.
A lot of fun.
I'm excited to see what's about to happen. Not just for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm really excited to see Mortal Kombat because I love comic book movies. I love comic book movies and I love video game movies. One of my guilty pleasures is the Resident Evil franchise.
That's probably honestly that's the only one that's actually decent in the video game franchise.
You didn't like Doom?
Well, can we not talk about that, please? I'd rather watch Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, you know what? The most video game accurate is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
100%. That was such a fun movie.
Yes, it was.
So it's going to be very interesting to see how everything's kind of playing out. You know what I mean? Because let's look at the facts here. The GRC is now starting to realize like the Flag Smashers have a point. They're now getting their point across in the most dramatic way possible, right? But that's about to go down in, I think, is it New York or Washington D.C.?
I think they're in New York.
Yeah, they're in New York. I know Carly's in New York right now with Backtroff, and Backtroff is going after Sam because they know they're going to go after the Flag Smashers. They know the Power Broker is about to make her move, her move, and we're about to see who the Power Broker is if we see it, right?
Yeah.
And we're about to see Sam hold the Pulp Fiction case of what's in there. A lot of people are saying it's the vibranium infused suit, and that's why Bucky asked for a favor. And I think it's going to be America, like red, white, and blue themed, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to happen. And before I get a little more off topic, like let's talk about Isaiah Bradley's like story and how it was very comic book accurate to what happened to him in the red, white, and black comic book he was in, telling his story of everything that happened. It was very, very comic book accurate.
Yeah.
Right? His tragic story of what happened. Because like I said, his last mission in the comic books was to steal the shield back. He stole the shield and he went to go fight whatever problem he had to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you look at it, they live a very similar life in a sense, where like, they're fighting for their country. Steve did the same thing, disobeyed orders, went to go save his comrades.
He's a hero.
Isaiah does the same thing, given different circumstances.
Oh, clearly.
Does the same thing and is treated like a criminal.
Exactly. And it's just like how like it's so backwards for African Americans, and it's very
very touchy subject.
Exactly, and I like how Disney is approaching this in a very like, for the technical difficulties, you probably heard the motorcycle in the background, but car shows have to happen eventually. But that's what I'm saying, like it's so crazy like how Disney's even approaching this, because it's a very touchy subject and they can get a lot of hate for it.
Yeah.
But given everything that's happened in this past year, like it's very, very, very touchy, right? Because of the Black Lives Matter movement and everything else like that. So how do they do this?
Yeah, so like, respect to Disney for even attempting to do this, because of the fact that it so hits home for a lot of different people. So it's like, to be able to touch on that subject and actually have the balls to actually address it without actually addressing it.
And making it so...
work in a comic book world aspect.
It's very, very good. Like how they're doing it is it's not safe by any means, but it's very, very professional and very, it like you're saying, it hits home to most people, but it's in a way that we can relate and sympathize with this show. And sympathize with Isaiah Bradley in particular. Like I felt like I almost did tear up at that point, and then when Sam went to go fix the boat. Right?
Yeah.
And could we talk about how the White Wolf really does love his dark meat?
I didn't think we were going to bring that up.
No, dude, we have to. We fucking have to. Sarah and Bucky are the relationship we didn't want, but needed. Dude, and they even look like they're like, oh, what's up, girl? Like, what's your name?
Spent a lot of time in Wakanda.
Wakanda forever. Bucky's a firm believer. Once you go black, you don't go back. Telling you, bro. I'm telling you. It's crazy. Like and then Sam was like, "The fuck's going on here?"
Yeah.
Like that was probably one of the best comic relief moments of the whole episode.
Yeah.
Right, and then when Bucky went to go help, and I think like he did some like backwards reverse psychology on Sam. It was like when he fixed like the pipe or whatever that was steaming. Excuse me, sorry. I was like, oh, why didn't you use your metal arm? Oh, I just don't think of it so often, right? Just like how Sam's not thinking about how he's gonna catch the shield. And his training montage must have taken at least a couple weeks for him to get exactly what it was to do.
Yeah.
Well, it had maybe a little bit longer.
Maybe, I don't know, because it seems like the time, within how it's going doesn't match what's going on outside of the story.
But what's also kind of keep in mind that fuck, I need to clear my throat. Jesus, got a lot of phlegm today. That we're having all this stuff go on, but how did Carly get to the United States? Right, that's just not an overnight thing.
True.
All right, and it's not like she's going to the power broker and be like, hey, you want to give me a ride?
Yeah.
So, like, what I want to know is what Madam Hydra is doing
with John Walker.
Right? And it could be that she worked, because her comic book origin is a little everywhere. Because like I said, she was Madam Hydra for a moment, but she was also a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
Yeah.
So it could be that she worked for Hydra. Could be. Or she could be working for Thaddeus Ross. Because he keeps getting mentioned in all the post-credits. Right? So what is his bomb? He's going to be in the Thunderbolts, right?
Yeah.
And what if John Walker eventually goes to the Raft too? With Zemo. And Zemo was the leader of the Thunderbolts. Right? Until the Thunderbolts wanted to become heroes because they liked their job a lot better that way. And they wanted to change their ways.
Yeah.
And like you said, like the Suicide Squad is the Thunderbolts. But the difference is, everybody knows the Suicide Squads are villains and they keep using villains.
Yeah.
The Thunderbolts were pretending to be heroes even though they were villains to get time off their sentence. So it could be that he is now going...
Well, technically it's the same concept.
Same concept, yes, but a little bit different.
Yeah.
Little sprinkle of this and that. But we're going to see I think we're going to see the Thunderbolts start to get added because we need a couple more members. You can't just have the Thunderbolts with 2 people.
Yeah. And they could be already people that we already seen in the MCU.
Ghost.
Their variation of the...
Yeah, Ghost isn't anywhere around anymore.
Yeah.
We don't even know if she really lived. Right? Because that was another thing I didn't like about the ending of Ant-Man. Like, we never got closure what happened to Ghost.
Yeah.
Because we know she got healed, but that was only a temporary
Well,
thing.
we know Taskmaster plays a role in Black Widow, so he could be probably a member.
He could be. That could be something, because we're getting the Black Widow movie fairly soon, too.
Yeah.
When does that come out again? June? Okay, so we got another month till that comes out. Yeah. Oh, for the record, guys, after we're done with Mortal Kombat and with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we're going to take May off to kind of give ourselves a break here, because don't get us wrong, we love doing this for you guys, but even us need a little bit of me time, you know what I mean? So,
but if something does come,
we have to.
We have to talk about it. So, it's not set in stone just yet,
But just keep in mind that it is going to take a little bit of a hiatus, so if you love the podcast, be sure to stay tuned. We are going to be back eventually, but until June, we're not going to have much to talk about. Because these past few months have been jam-packed with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Since
December, we've had The Mandalorian, we've had that other Disney movie that I keep forgetting to talk about. We've had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we've had WandaVision, we've had a lot of stuff to talk about. Godzilla vs. Kong, so we've had a lot of stuff to kind of keep ourselves entertained, but at the same time, I need a break.
Yeah, it's understandable.
So, stay tuned, but keep in mind, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 5, fucking lit. This, I think, I say this now that this is my number one episode, but at the same time, 6 could be better.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to say this is the best episode just yet, but so far out of the series, yes it has, but 6 could probably blow it out of the park for all we know.
Yeah, exactly, because Episode 4 was intense too. I loved that episode, right? There was so much going on, at the ending, and John Walker is so weakened is the second John Walker came into the scene, he had tunnel vision. The way they shot that and had everything blurred and he's remembering everything that's going on, he is physically traumatized for what just happened and he just killed a man. You know what I mean? You don't just walk away from that, unless you're a psychopath, but he has general remorse of what he's done. So John Walker is just another, now he's got imposter syndrome for sure.
Yeah.
He's always had it, but it's been more apparent, I am Captain America. No, you ain't, bitch. You're just a guy with a shield. Yep. And that shield isn't even U.S. property.
It is not.
Steve, your thoughts? Not my Captain America. That's right, Steve. Not your Captain America. He ain't mine either.
In the words of Superman, not impressed.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. You sly sons of a bitch. But no, it's very interesting to see, and all this stuff kind of circling around itself. It's coming full circle. John Walker now has a super soldier serum. John Walker.
Yes, it's addressed that he has super soldier serum. But we never even see him take the fucking thing. Do we have to? Do we need to?
No!
Do we want to? Yes!
Dude, and he just, kicked in the door, and he was like, everyone's like, fuck that. And you know what's like, I don't know if you noticed this, but when they had Zemo come in, they had Zemo's music from Civil War. And we had a whole very similar Civil War kind of fight.
Yeah.
Right? Someone just lost a loved one, and he's fighting for what he wants. Right? And it's just so crazy. And he, like, Bucky was about to die until Sam stepped in, and vice versa. Like, he was going to kill them off. Like, he was like, fuck you, fuck this, and I'm keeping the shield.
Yeah, most definitely. It's like, I don't know if Bucky just isn't trying, or he really is just gone soft in his times of peace.
I think he's really not trying to hurt him. Like, and he's holding back. And to be fair, he should. Because when he gets full ammunition going, he's fucking a deadly piece of machinery. Right? And he is one of the toughest people in the Marvel Universe right now. Right? Obviously, other than anyone who has fucking superpowers, but he is a fucking monster when he needs to be. And I loved how every time John tosses something at him, he catches it. The knife, the shield, everything else. And he's like, catch. Fuck you. What's up, babe? My cat likes to join us every once in a while. You're a traitor. How are you always going to go to Isaac when I feed you every day? Like, she doesn't even care. Like, no respect.
Do you want her?
No, like, she'll come lay with me later, but still. That pussy's a traitor. These hoes ain't loyal.
You just kiss my hand.
But no, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much stuff going on right now, and we don't know what's about to happen. What I do know is that next week is going to be intense.
Yeah.
Next week is about to be so lit that no one's going to know what to do with.
You know, I've been thinking about this for a little bit, and I don't like to compare and contrast anything, but how do you feel so far watching this compared to WandaVision?
Ooh, you hit me with the ultimatum here. It's between the two shows. I do like this one a lot better. Not to say anything against WandaVision because it was amazing, but WandaVision was a completely different aspect to what we're normally used to. Because at first it was a comedy, then it got serious. This was serious from day one.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a full cinematic experience.
You know how they say they don't like when the MCU goes dark? The MCU's gone dark.
Fuck yes. And that's just showing, because we've always seen a lighthearted, like, MCU. Right? And that's where everyone's saying, and I can see this from the aspect of being a Marvel fan, and respecting DC and watching their movies and reading their comic books, that DC's darker. No, Marvel is just as dark, but they hit like a way different tone.
Yeah.
Right? Let's take Demon in a Bottle, for example. That is a completely terrible way of how that goes. And Hank Pym was a wife abuser, right? And when Ultron was made, he was made off of, his brainwaves, and it was fucking when he was violent. So these characters, and Daredevil comics are terrible, right? And so are Moon Knight comic books for some degree, even though they try to say Moon Knight's like the new Batman, like Marvel's Batman. That's not true.
Speaking of Moon Knight, I've been watching, what's his name? The guy that plays Poe?
Yeah.
Do his choreography for Moon Knight? Mm-hmm. Oof, man, oh man, we're in for something crazy.
Right? But that's what I'm saying, like, Marvel, we're now seeing the darker side of Marvel because Marvel's had dark comic books. The Immortal Hulk, for example, is a dark tale. Old Man Logan is fucking gruesome. You know what I mean? Like, Marvel has its dark comic books. It's just DC has a lot more depth to them because you really have to have dark stories to contemplate these god level beings.
I mean, I know DC stands for Detective Comics, but it's more dark comics than anything.
Yeah, but my point being, because they have to have some of these darker tones because, dear God, what do you do with a man who can literally do anything?
Right. In a sense where it's like, I never like to say, oh, DC's more for adults. But more in a sense where
there are certain chapters and certain things where it is a little more adult based. And as the years went on for the Marvel universe, like the Marvel comic book issues, they started approaching the area of, more of adult based comics, and people don't like that.
They don't expect it from Marvel because Marvel has Spider-Man, they have the Fantastic Four, they have all
look at the Ultimates, for instance. The entire Ultimate saga is basically inspired by what we get now for the MCU, and it was very, more mature based in a sense with a lot of things that they talked about. And
because Marvel Studios, because their first few were released by Paramount, until Marvel decided to make their own studio and got bought out by Disney. Right. So it's been very they have dark comic books, they have dark stuff, and I don't agree with people who say oh, Marvel's supposed to be more lighthearted. No, it's not. Marvel has dark comic books. It's just they're older. They're a lot older comic books for you, and you want to base it off what you see in the movies, but you don't look at the comic book aspect of what these have already done.
Yeah, and when I look at Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think I gravitate towards it more because of the fact that it's more, real life. It's adult based. It's all real life issues, real, things that are going on in this world to this day, even now. And it speaks the truth, like this episode.
And you know what? Even Iron Man 3 was a bit darker.
Yeah.
Because Tony was dealing with his PTSD.
Yeah.
Right? Thor has been a dark kind of thing the whole time because it's showing that for Loki in particular, Loki is seen to be the unloved child who was adopted. He was never adopted, so Odin lied to him to his face his entire life. And Odin put the minds you're both meant to be kings, but only one of you can. So it constantly created a power struggle between him and his brother. So I agree with you. It is. I do gravitate towards it more because it's adult based, but it's real life issues that we can all relate with, right? Because we all have. Maybe not everyone deals with imposter syndrome, but people have seen it and people can recognize it.
Yeah.
Right, and we can deal with the fact that some of us who watch this and be oh, we've dealt with losing loved ones in front of our faces.
Yeah.
And you can see the anger in a lot of this.
And I think because with Marvel now being in the next phase that they're in, doing this with TV series is a lot easier to get away with compared to doing it in the movies.
Right.
So we won't. Who knows? We might not see this type of tone in the Phase 4. It's Phase 4, right?
Yeah.
Phase 4's movies.
Oh, no,
it's Phase 4.
It's Phase 4. I was done. Are we in Phase 5 yet?
I think we're in Phase 4.
Yeah.
And compared to, right now, they have to basically, start a whole new chapter of everything through the TV series, so that way they can, combine it all together when the movies start to, come out again. Which we're supposed to have 5 of them already by now, but because of the pandemic, we have nothing but the TV shows to fall back on.
Right.
So it's interesting to me how they're going to approach this when they do decide to start Phase 4, and how they go about it, especially with these specific characters, because now you're going to have to be oh shit, what the fuck? Why does Falcon all of a sudden have the shield, and why does he have a Captain America suit or whatever? You have to go back and watch this to understand.
It's very interesting to see how they're doing all this stuff and how these shows are now intertwined. Because they tried to do it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just flew off the rails.
And they could have done it with the mature version of the Defenders. But they couldn't do it because of the fact that the whole thing it just didn't make sense to do it then, but they're doing it now. Yeah,
and because they had their own tie-ups with Netflix and everything, that's why we don't have that's why we're getting Mahershala Ali as Blade now, instead of Cottonmouth. Although I think it was a very underutilized version of Cottonmouth, we could have had him in the second season.
And is it a possibility to get John Bernthal as Punisher? Yes. Is it possible to get Charlie Cox as Daredevil? Yes.
I think he's supposed to be in the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. So it's possible to still intertwine them, but still in a sense, I don't want to say tone down, because you can't really tone down those type of characters. But if you want to make it work, you could easily pick it up and put it back on Disney.
And you know what I really want to see? I want to see the Kingpin from Daredevil be in the MCU.
He was a very good Kingpin.
He's the best. He is the fucking best. He was the Kingpin. And he's even showed interest to be. Is like, I would love to play the Kingpin.
He could easily be Kingpin in the universe of Spider-Man, because that is one of technically one of Spider-Man's also one of his villains.
And it's actually one of his major villains too, because he was a Daredevil villain for a little bit, but he tended like I think
everybody that lives in New York has the same freaking villains if you realistically think about it.
Yeah.
So.
And what's crazy too is that like the Kingpin, everyone associates the Kingpin with Spider-Man only because the cartoon hero.
Yeah.
Right, and that's perfectly fair because he was a big part of a lot of it, and I just recently got done watching it not too long ago. But like it's just you're right. Like everyone in New York has the same set of villains, except depending on what comic book you're reading, it just depends on what you're really seeing.
Yeah.
I think I put too much water in. I'm starting to get water in my nose. And honestly, I don't have any much else to say about it. I just shut off the camera for that. I hate when they do these fucking car shows here.
It's only been like 2 weeks.
I know, but now last week wasn't that bad.
No.
But more technical difficulties aside, like, do you have anything else to really say about episode 5?
Nope, none of that. It was badass, and I can't wait for next week's episode.
Mm-hmm.
It should be even more insane, hopefully. I'm not building up the hype, because I don't like doing that, but you did that with WandaVision, and it didn't exactly work out that way.
Dude, this is the hype. It's like in a Dragon Ball Z abridged. Do you really believe in your own hype? I am the hype!
Yeah.
But no, like, I'm excited to see how this ends. And I'm actually quite sad, and I think this deserves a second season.
Yes. Because you could easily take on so much more with this.
You really could. Like, WandaVision, it was a one-off. For sure. Right? And it's supposed to lead to the multiverse of madness. This leaves us so many different possibilities of what can happen. And if Sharon Carter doesn't work for the Power Broker, she's about to make her way to take out the Power Broker. Right? Because she has enough connections.
She's cooking up something. I don't know what she's doing. She could be the main, honcho of this whole entire thing this entire time, and we didn't even know it, but technically we did know it.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like I said, she's cooking up something. She's on the verge of doing something big.
Mm-hmm. Before we wrap this up, you know what we should talk about? How Sam is a better therapist than Bucky's therapist.
Yeah. Well, then again, this is how Sam started off in the beginning in Winter Soldier.
He's a grief counselor, yeah. And that's why, like, I was kind of upset when John Walker didn't give him the time and space to do what Sam does best, be a grief counselor. So it's like really, bro, like, you couldn't.
This all could have been avoided if you had just let Sam do his thing. And because of what he did, interfering, he lost his best friend. And in reality, Carly didn't kill Battlestar. John Walker killed Battlestar.
Facts. Dropping the truth today, Isaac.
Yes.
Damn. You took some truth serum today, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
But other than that, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Stay tuned for next week where we talk about the season finale or the series finale, a finale of what's about to happen, and I am excited. Until next time, guys. Keep smoking. Oh shit, my bad. Hey guys, how's it going? You made it to the end of the video. Congratulations. Or the end of the podcast, depending on how you're listening to it. But for more videos and podcasts, be sure to click the link in the description below if you're on YouTube. If you're listening to us on Spotify, be sure to like, share. It also helps us here. But also, be aware that you too can support the podcast for 99 cents a month, so you can help keep the lights on around here if you click the link below. Right, and to find us on Instagram and or Twitter, you're going to find _hookahologist. To find this beautiful face on Facebook, you're going to look under Tommy Rodriguez. And if you want to follow us on Facebook as well, I was about to say Instagram again. Sorry. But Facebook again, be sure to look up Cinema Photography. We post our podcasts, videos, pictures. We're going to start taking suggestions of what you guys want to see on the channel. Right, because we can do movies that come out all we want, but we also want to know what you guys think we should review too. So, until next time, guys. Keep smoking.